Yeah.
Highview School District number 52. And we will start with a Pledge of Allegiance, which I understand is being led by some of our best students.
Great, you can go take video if you want. Have to be back here.
Just
Wow. Thank you very much.
Sense of competition coming. Yeah.
We'll wait a couple minutes for those that want to leave and don't want to keep meeting it.
Ms. Harding, Ms. Alvarado, thank you so much. Thank you, parents.
Good job. You guys have done the best so far.
You don't get free high school kids.
No, not your fault. I'm just like negative. Well, it's pretty good.
Okay, we'll move on to approval of the agenda. Do you have any changes?
I've got an addition, if we could. Under new business. Insert a new letter A and move everything else down. And new business, the new letter A is simply going to be coach's ejection. With explanation from Coach Russine.
Do that one first. Okay. Any other questions, comments? Okay, well, the chair would entertain a motion to approve.
I'll go ahead and move to approve the agenda. With the changes to A.
I will second. Okay, moved and seconded, all in favor? Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Delegations, Mr. Peterson.
Just very quickly, I just wanted to take a minute and thank our district office staff because as the board is aware, I got hammered by a norovirus last week and was out the last 2 days and nothing missed a beat. We just went on. So just tell everybody here, Drew, Heidi, Mona, every Diane, I appreciate the continuity and appreciate you more being back today. So.
Okay. Good. Noted. A way to save money, send the superintendent home for 2 days. Okay. So our proposed consent agenda. Questions, comments?
I just want to make a note to thank Chris for all her service and wish her well.
Yeah, I agree. Anything else? Any other comments? Okay,
I'll move to approve the proposed consent agenda.
I will second.
okay, I'll move to second, all in favor, aye,
Aye.
right. Moving into the all important public comments.
Hello.
You have 3 minutes, please state your name and for the record.
Okay, I'm Emma Baumgartner. I'm a mom to 5 children in this school district. I have a couple concerns about specifically special education and how we can address violent children in this school. So a little backstory, my 9-year-old son was assaulted earlier this week by a girl in his class. And this girl has ongoing behavioral issues. But unfortunately, it feels like we don't have the resources to do anything specifically about angry children in our school district. And I realize there's lots of problems stemming very far back, and it's not directly the school district's responsibility to handle her. But it is the school district's responsibility to protect my child. My child still 5 days later has 2 black eyes and a red mark on his face because he was hit in the face and protecting another child. And he did push her, I will say that. He got in the middle of these 2 girls arguing, and when he was confronted, he did push her, and that is how the smack happened. I bought my son ice cream after because he was defending another student who is quite a bit smaller than he is. That being said, I was hoping that there's some way we can have some resolution. Maybe to hire some more paras that can be directly assigned to these angry children, or maybe that we could get some type of funding for a classroom or something for these angry children, something where there's some resolution, because this child is back in the classroom, which she has continuously been put back in the classroom since kindergarten. And I know that because my son's been in kindergarten or with her since kindergarten. And I'm hoping that there can just be something that we can do for these children. Because first of all, it's not fair to my kids that their safety is being jeopardized. It's also not fair to these angry children to be in this stressful environment where they are acting out. Now, I realize that there are things put in place for this child so that she can decompress or whatever the case is. But I will say I'm very angry. My son has now had her hands put on him yet again this year, and has resulted in 2 black eyes. And that being said, it is everyone's responsibility at the school, his teacher's responsibility, and the school board's responsibility to make sure that my child is safe. And if these children are not being taken out of the classroom, what can we do to make sure that these children in the classroom are contained and there's something that we can be doing where other children are not getting hurt? And so that's my concern for
Thank you.
Okay.
Other public comment?
I do have an electronic.
Written comment?
I've got an electronic, yes. So this is from, I'll just read this. My name is Heidi Rogers. I'll be including my phone number and address as a requirement for email public comments. Although I would appreciate it if they were not read out loud to the public. At the last meeting, Mr. Peterson read my address for everyone to hear, and I did not appreciate that. I apologize. My phone number is blank, and her address is simply a PO box within Benton City. Please respond to my questions via email. Question 1, why did the superintendent secretary resign during the 2020-2021 school year only to then come back for the 21-22 school year making over $12,000 more, get more personal time off, plus $1,400 more in VIVA. And then for the 22-23 school year, get another pay increase of over $11,000 plus more vacation time. Question 2, is there a facilities planning committee? If so, who is on it? When do they meet? And why isn't it made public? Lastly, how much money have we paid to the county so far since we have had to borrow money from them? And are we still borrowing money from them? And then in addition to that, which says, I would like to add one more public comment to my previous email. If over the course of 2 years, the superintendent secretary could get a raise of over $23,000, how can you deny 2 employees who highly impact our students their raises? Since we are supposed to be doing what's in the best interest of kids, shouldn't we be putting that money towards people directly working with them? Thank you. Heidi Rogers.
Okay.
And again, I'll work with Mr. Thornton to get those questions answered and responded to by email.
All right. One more chance, any public comment? Okay, we'll move on to director's reports. Mr. Henry up first.
So you're able to get a phone call in a couple of minutes because I plan this every time I come, and I forget so that you guys can look at your phones and see who's calling you at that time. So I forgot to send on the phone call. But first, I want to thank you for hiring a new athletic director for next year. I really do appreciate that. So I'm gonna go through the sports so you guys know what's going on in season wise. Our soccer team had the best season that I can remember since I've been here as a boys soccer team. They had 3 wins. We had 3 athletes make it, 1 on first team, 1 on second team, 1 honorable mention. I'd like to mention the names. So Zaman Dragan was on first team. Alan Mercado was on second team, and Joaquin Valencia was honorable mention, which is quite an amazing thing based on we've had a real tough time keeping coaches, and over the years that I've been here, I want to say we've had probably 4 in the 9 years I've been here. And that's tough for continuity for kids. So this year they did a really good job and they grew a lot. Tennis has a match at Zilla on Tuesday. Sub-districts is Saturday, and then next Monday at Connell. And then the following week we have districts at the Yakima Tennis Club. And that's where the state district tournament will be. So as a league, we decided to pay the extra money for them to go to the Yakima Tennis Club, and so hopefully be playing there the next week. Give our athletes a little step. So track sub-districts this Thursday at Royal City. The districts will be next week at College Place. Baseball, we have a home game tomorrow versus Zilla. Win or lose, they'll play on Friday. If they win, they go to Nat Cheese. If they lose, they'll have a home game against most likely Connell on the other side of the bracket. Then they have to win that. And then on Saturday, they'll play again, and only 3 teams make it to state. Okay. So the following week will be regionals, and the week after that will be state. Softball is tied for first place. They have an excellent undefeated record for the SCAC. In the East, they play Royal on Saturday at 11-1. You get an opportunity to come. Please do, because that's for the championship of the league. Whoever wins those 2 games is going to come out as champion. District tournament starts on Thursday, 18th with a home game. Even if we're first or second, doesn't matter. We'll have a home game because we'll play 3 or 4 on the other side. And then the round after that will be in Connell on the 20th, and 3 teams make it to state also there. Okay. It's
Mr. Henry, who did our softball team sweep this past weekend?
Connelly. Yeah.
Thank you. Just wanted to make sure I heard that right.
Yes.
Every team they've played every year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's, I mean, yeah, there was 7 home runs. It was crazy. It was awesome. So girls are playing well. Perfect time to do it. It's going to be a big challenge on Saturday, you know? And so, like I said, if you get an opportunity, please feel free to come up and take a look, see from 11 to probably 3 o'clock. Hopefully every 10 run minutes done at 2 o'clock. So it's been an adventure this year being the AD and the principal, and I'm glad this is my last report. So any questions?
So the game's here Saturday?
Games are here on Saturday, yeah, which is an extra bonus, which is awesome.
Might be a hot one, so.
Yes. Oh, yes. It might. It sounds like.
Yeah.
Okay. Any questions?
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh. Next up, Mr. Castillo.
Good evening. I have emailed the written report to Heidi so that I don't take a whole lot of time because I want to hand it over to somebody we have here as a guest this evening. So the ECAT, McKay Vento, foster care, safety security update, I emailed it to Heidi in written form. But I do want to welcome our 21st Century Program Coordinator. Usually I'll do a quick overview about the program, what have you, but I'd like her to go through and in more detail, show you guys the program, how it's going this year and what it provides for our kids this year, what the plan is for the future. And then most exciting is the partnering that 21st Century does with our Benton City Coalition, which I think is exciting, and I wanted you guys to be aware of that. So I'll welcome up Sheena McCall.
Good evening. Thank you for having me. I'm pretty excited to be able to report to you guys instead of report to him. So I would love to, I love to brag about the impact that 21st Century has on the kids. And of course, we have a lot of partnerships within the community that we're working with. Some of it's volunteer work, some of it's on the clock. It's just something that I'm pretty excited about. So, who is, thank you.
Will you say next slide when you want? And so that moment, please.
So I want to let you know the foundation of our program, which is youth program quality. I train my staff on youth program quality, and then in turn, they get to work with the students. The students that have been with us for 5 years are now in our leadership team, and they are proficient in youth program quality. Then we're going to go over staff and student numbers, curriculum, community partners, our logic model. And if you want a copy of that, because it's small lettering, please let me know and I can get that over to you guys. Family engagement, resource night, it's something that is upcoming. And then summer school planning, and then PD trainings and mental health first aid for teachers and school staff we have available. ESD offers certain different professional development for communities, and why not let Benton City and teachers and principals and all of our community leaders know about these, because not only is it encouraging, but who doesn't need more PD, right? And then we have some community survey data from the coalition, if you'd like to take a look at the slides. And it's, I don't know if you've seen the community survey from the coalition, but it's a lot of data that our students have taken surveys, and we collected all the data. We kind of ran numbers, we have percentages. It's a lot of really important details that I think us as leaders should focus on, because it has to do with mental health, that has to do with drinking, vaping, drug use. Next slide, please. So this is our youth program quality. The most important thing that we can offer students is a safe space, and that is what Kaiby Elementary does for us. We have, locks on the doors. We have electrical outlets out of the way. We have a safe space. So the next level of support would be active listening, ask, listen, and encourage. We give our students a voice. So when we're in the classroom, we're kind of supporting, giving them the idea of what they'd like to learn about. And this gets interaction, it gets engagement, and they're very excited about it. And then interactive environment, what I've just kind of led to. Building community, all of them function in our community nights with their parents. Their parents see the leadership that are coming out of these children, and they want to be a part of it. They're like, what are you doing with our kids? They're changing. We see something that is exciting, and I get parent phone calls all the time. How's my student doing today? How can I help you? Do I need to talk to them at home? We just get that connection that they don't get during the daytime. And then planning and reflection and youth voice again. Planning and reflection, that they reflect every day at the end of program. What did we do? What can we do differently? How did this change us? How did it impact us? We always ask a reflection question. And they are heard, you know, they get to speak their mind, and who doesn't like to be heard? Right? Next slide, please. Oh, and another thing is we take youth program quality, each employee for 21st Century scores each other in the classroom. And we dig really deep. We're like, we score everything that they said based on youth program quality. And we average it. We have a scoring meeting. We talk about what we can do differently, how we can better support our youth and our parents. And then we come up with goals. These goals are very deep, and they are, and we'd like to make sure so that the state watches us. We submit the goals, they come and also observe and make sure that we're following through with our goals and see a lot of growth. I have 6 staff, 3 facilitators, 2 volunteer middle schoolers that have been in, you know, they moved up to middle school. They weren't able to be in 21st Century anymore, but they knew what we were about. They wanted to come and help. They read to kids. I have slides with pictures of them reading to kids and then helping with homework. Some of the students that we have are dyslexic. They still help with homework. They support in any way, actively or inactively as possible. And by inactively, I mean, you know, when they have the barriers, if they're dyslexic, they can't read. So they do the activities instead. And then we have a 5th grade leadership team. I have 4 on that team. I had approval from Chris Hansen that they could come and meet with me for lunch. They come every Tuesdays. They plan lessons. They teach lessons once a week. And so I don't know if you've ever watched a classroom where another youth is teaching the youth, but the kids love it. They actually like engage, they listen. It's like playing in the classroom. It's a lot of fun. This is just some of the curriculum that I bring into program. We have a lot more. And I don't know if you've seen this 21st Century room, but it's packed. A lot of it is evidence-based. A lot of it is, you know, we go outside, do a lot of exploring and project-based learning. Super enriching. Next slide, please. This is just one of our engagement nights. We do one of these every month. We partnered with the coalition. This is a couple of my staff and community outreach. And this is all of the 21st Century picture. Parents, kids, we had it all. It was like a fair. If you ever want an invite to them, please let me know. It's a lot of fun. Just bring kids, play with them, play different games. So next slide, please. So that's our team. Some partners. This probably isn't all of them, but I'll go ahead and. So the biggest ones are Benton City Coalition and Migrant Services. They come and work with our migrant students every day during homework time. We read to them, do their homework with them. RTI Lutheran Services is a big one. And of course, ESD 123. There's a lot of services that they offer that can be taken advantage of. And they're free services, which is really neat. Mid-Columbia Libraries, we have book club every Thursday. We have Lego club every Wednesday. Kids are very, very busy. Domestic violence services come in every Wednesday for the 4th and 5th graders, and they provide services. They provide counseling services, and whether it's group counselor or individual counselor, they're there to help us. Forge Mentoring, he's been a partner for a long time. Great vital tool for that student or those parents that don't know what to do, that student that needs that one-on-one support. That's just another person that or group of people that are here available for us. And I've had plenty of outreach for that as well. After School Alliance, Seaport Strength. So all of these partners are going to be in our resource night, June 1st. And next slide, please. And you'll see the flyer for that. This is our logic model. This is what we write the grant off of, based off of. And so we have, it just gives us percentages, Spanish speaking, English speaking, students that struggle with ELA. I go to teachers, I ask for referrals, I go to principals, I ask for referrals, and then we communicate with the teachers. What do they need help with? I get packets on my desk all the time. This is their homework packet. Please get it completed. Help us with this because the student isn't doing it during the day. And so we keep it, we make sure that the homework is done. And then at the end of when he finishes, he or she, when they finish the homework, they just take it right to the teacher. It doesn't even leave the school because we need that follow through. We need that person that can stand there and be that, stronghold for them. We have very high participation. I'm sure you'll see hopefully a lot of your scores go up. We tutor these kids every single day. So I'm hoping to see that growth. Next slide, please. And this is our family engagement resource night. If you guys haven't seen the flyer yet. So we have a motivational speaker that will attend. I've asked teachers to please attend because this is the link that they're going to get with their students and their parents. We need that communication. The teachers need that backup from the parents, and they'll get it if they ask for it. 75% of the time. And here we have all of our partners that will show up. They're going to set up a booth. And they're going to let us know, how can we help you? Let us know what you need. And so the food bank is coming, they're handing out food boxes. I know some, the cost of living has raised. Some people are very tight budgets. Next slide, please. And this is just kind of a recap of our year. See, we have some of the younger kids that have been in 21st century reading to others. Some of the project-based learning, family nights. The book giveaway was a really neat family night. They had puppet shows. The kids had an opportunity to make a Christmas present and they made teddy bears. They actually, the boys and girls did like a home ec through the winter and made teddy bears. They had a lot of fun. They measured, it was like a whole STEAM session. They measured, they cut, anything that had to do with the teddy bear, they did it on their own. The puppets were a lot of fun. They presented to the parents, which, that's just another, get out in front and present yourself and be proud of yourself. Next slide, please. 21st century summer school collaboration. So this year we asked what the school wanted, and the school wanted, because we're here to serve you. We're here to help fill the gap when you need those gaps filled. They asked for us to be an elective for summer school. It's going to help you guys, and it's going to help us get the retention that we need and get all those students in our program and see what we offer. So I have, we once again will do Earth Gen's curriculum. It's project-based learning. We'll be learning about how a bowl of guacamole didn't rot in a 25-year-old landfill. So they are going to learn about environment and learn about, it's really how they get to watch stuff decompose. And 21st Step will also serve as lunchroom supervision and bus supervision. And 21st Century staff will also serve you guys in your RTI department and work with those students that need one-on-one support. So we have 6 of us, 2 of us will be in the classroom, depending on the age group. taking turns, and then the rest of us will be out, serving the teachers and serving our team. Next slide, please. And this is just to introduce Coalition for Healthy Benton City. I'm sure you've heard of us. I'm the secretary also. Our mission is to empower youth, inspire and strengthen the community with the knowledge of prevention. Next slide, please. Some vape data, just some of the data that came out. If you guys want to see the rest of it, please let me or Brianna Zavacar know. The average age of first use is 12.5. We did have a youth panel, and the kids actually, they told us that this isn't true. We're like, wow, okay. So how did they get it? They got it from friends, or a lot of times they get it from parents. They just gave them some money and had somebody else go buy it. Next slide, please. We strive to create long-term positive impacts in our community. Next slide, please. And how we implement. We change community norms to I think that's supposed to say reduce risk factors, such as early initiation of drug use. Increase protective factors, such as youth who feel connected to their family and community. So just that communication, like right now, the coalition is hosting in the middle school library, strengthening families classes. I am certified to teach those classes, so I have 50 people showing up to those classes. I work with the youth intervention. I talk with the youth. I let them know, you know, your parents do care. Let's look up your family history. Let's do all this fun stuff together. It moves very, very fast. 3-minute activities for 2 hours. And I encourage you guys all to come and observe if you want to. The kids are engaged because we're moving so fast. There are some incentives that we give at the end of this thing. That's just one example of intervention and increasing protective factors. Next slide, please. Strategic prevention framework. I have studied this and it works. So we do the community assessment. We we look at our capacity, we start planning, we start implementing, and then we evaluate the implementation. It's almost like the engineering, it just keeps going around in a circle, and it's worked for me anyways. And next slide. Our organization is volunteer run to promote mental health and substance use prevention for youth and adults. Next slide, please. Are there any questions?
So what's the best way to contact you if we had other questions?
I have
resources?
cards. I can give you guys each a card, but I report to Bernardo every month or when things come up, when I have questions. So Bernardo.
Great.
Perfect. Any other questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
A lot of info, good.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
Bernardo, before we move on, can you tell us what the timeline is for reauthorization of the 21st Century Grant and how long, what we're looking at?
We're looking at the end of July.
And then we're looking at expanding it up through middle school.
Correct.
Is the goal.
Yeah, this has been an enormously successful program, so we're really hoping
Yeah.
funding will continue and then will allow expansion into the middle school.
Is that federal?
Yes.
All right, Mr. Adamson, you are up next.
All of that. We need your PowerPoint?
We always have a lot going on, but obviously it's a transition period. Transportation, the inspections went good with WFP. Rob with HVAC, we're cleaning the units out, prepping for the hot weather that's coming up, so just trying to be proactive. Custodians, you know, we're just getting through it and prepping same with grounds, trying to keep ahead of the dandelions and the sports games and irrigation and just got a lot going on, so, always busy. Or that, so. Short and sweet, any questions for me? Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Bob. Let's see. Dave. Wait. Oh, wow. What against me?
Ask and you shall receive.
Wow, I'm impressed. We got next one. Well,
Can I go first? That was amazing.
Okay, so just like Mr. Adams, that's summer's right around the corner for us. So just looking at a quick scope of what we've been dealing with from January till now. SBAC testing tends to be our big thing to make sure we can support it. Been going awesome. The technology is held with the laptops, the internet will just fine. So give a little sigh of relief. In fall, we were trying to get an internet bridge, which would allow us to get internet into the concession stands. We did not get to it in time just due to weather. We were finally able to, once it warmed up, we got the bridge in. So now we have network and internet and concessions, and we're moving to the field house eventually. So in some time. We were able to install a new camera for the ECAP because we had a potential some safety issues down at Grace Avenue. So we got a camera there, so we have stuff there. Current things we're working on with the help of Mr. Rob and Ms. Mona. We were able to get printer, I know this. We were able to get new printers for the district, and we're actually able to save a little cost on. We get new printers and we're saving a little bit monthly. So we're currently just trying to get those all in deployed. Our goal is to have them all done by the end of June, so that way it really clears up our summer stuff. We are working on our surplus, and this is gonna kind of play into our summertime projects. So we're just kind of doing inventory, making sure we have all the paperwork, so that way we're ready to pilot it, we're ready to move on. Big thing, we have these things everywhere, but we're still trying to troubleshoot the middle school speaker. We did get them a new system earlier this year, but what the left side is out, so we've been troubleshooting with the brand. Hopefully we can get it working. They're having me run through a little bit of a process in order for them to verify that's not working, but once we get through it, can you speak those, then we'll be good to go. And then with the help with athletic director, Mr. Henry, we've been refreshing the press box at the stadium. We were able to mount the monitor and things like that, so that way people who are in there, it's a little bit more clean for them. Everything has a place for these things. So looking ahead, yeah, like I said, big thing for us this summer is going to be surplus. We're really going to try to clear out. We have a Connex full of old laptops, desktops, printers, things that are pretty much unusable. So we're just gonna see the surplus and see what we can get back on, and it'll absolutely clear space out. Once we're able to clear that space, you know, real estate's really high here, especially at the district, so we'll be able to take some of our stuff back and then leave room for other stuff. We are looking at installing an additional camera for the elementary. We have places on order, and as soon as it gets in, we'll get it installed. That'll be in within the next. And then, but yeah, looking ahead for summer projects, the big things we have are preventative maintenance, just doing our little bit of directory cleanup for the staff. Our annual, since we're going 1-to-1 for 6 or 7 grades, our seniors will give us back their laptops. We take the summer, clean them up, get them ready for the onboard 6th graders coming in. So it's a nice little cycle. And we just have a few laptops that we need to get repaired for these students. We did finally get our first, my dog ate our computer. So we're just gonna be taking our time getting those repaired, get them back into the cell. Any questions?
David, what's the, I know with the district-wide printer refresh, we're talking about, we re-upped a lease, I'm assuming.
Correct.
What's the time frame now? How long are we good for? Let's put it that way, knock on wood.
Don't know offhand. I would like to say 5 years.
5 years.
I want to
I think
say
we
5.
combine.
Absolutely, I can take that. Yeah.
Just a ballpark is fine.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any question? Thank you. Go back to my.
Mr. Hahn.
Yeah, Mr. Hahn has an excused absence.
Okay.
Meeting.
Mrs. Walla.
Hello, I was able to put the report on your table. This one for you get all came in. So, I'll go over the different programs. First of all, for special education, we are going to increase our services by a 0.5 person. So next year we'll have 2 FTEs. For the last 5 years, I guess 6 years that I've been here, we have been contracting services. And that's due to we post the positions every year and we do not have applicants for on-campus staff, people who want to work for the district. The majority of therapists are doing teletherapy. And so we've continued with the same vendor, but again, we have to post the positions and then we're hoping that our vendor will continue to work with us next year, but we'll have 2 staff next year. The nice thing about the vendor that we do have is that they do come on campus 1 week a month. So it's not like we never see them. They do come 1 week a month and get evaluations done, meet with parents, that kind of thing. And then just a recap, we have a half-time occupational therapist and a half-time school psychologist that we also will be posting. Currently, our half-time school psychologist, even though he's contracted, he does come and work on campus. The same with our occupational therapist. She's also here on campus. So it's just the teletherapy that is not on campus full-time. For our migrant program, we are having our Parent Advisory Council meeting May 24th. We're required to hold 3 Parent Advisory Councils meetings a year. And one's for planning, one's for implementation, and this last one is for evaluation of the program. And we kind of do evaluation / planning for the coming year. So that is scheduled for May 24th. We usually have them from 5:30 to 7 and meet right here in the boardroom. I'm going to be making a proposal to add 1 more classified migrant staff person at the elementary to support interventions and tutoring for our migrant students. Currently, we have a 1.5 migrant para, and we're needing additional support there. We're having a migrant senior graduation celebration on June 1st. We held this for the first time last year. Last year we had 25 migrant students graduating. This year it's 12. And we basically have a dinner and cake. But the nice thing about it is that Jessica Rygoza works with our bilingual and migrant students at the high school. And the sophomores and junior migrant students plan the event for the seniors. And so they do the agenda, they decorate, they support with serving the food. And so it's just a really nice evening. You all are welcome to attend. We're going to be meeting at the high school commons. So that's June 1st. It's the same night as our resource fair. So migrant will be splitting staff. So we have the people there and then we also have people at the graduation celebration. Another thing in August, they're finally doing an in-person state training in Yakima. It's always OSPI, Migrant Education Department, has always sponsored a training for migrant staff, parents, and students. This is the first time since COVID it's going to be in person. And they're not going to be doing the parents and students this year. It's just going to be for migrant staff, principals, counselors, anyone that supports and serves migrant students. in our district. So that's going to be August, I believe it's August 17th and 18th in Yakima. So our multilingual programs, which we prior to called our bilingual programs. We're going to, let me see here, I want to jump into dual language. We, for the past 3 years, we've utilized ESD bilingual consultant Jennifer Cowgill to support us with ongoing professional development for our bilingual students. Ongoing professional development for all of our teachers is required with our bilingual grant. And so what we've done for the past 2 years is we meet usually in June, the principals, myself, Pete, Mr. Peterson, and Jennifer, and look through our school calendar for the year and plan when are we going to have our elementary professional development, when are we going to have our secondary professional development for to support serving bilingual students in the general education classrooms. So we'll be setting that up probably after school ends sometime in June. We also offer the opportunity for any staff member to get their ELL endorsement. This year we didn't have anyone take us up on it, but I'm hoping to start the push on that, especially with our new staff, our new teachers. And I think I've shared this before, it benefits us tremendously to have our general education teachers have that ELL endorsement. And that way our students are being served in the gen ed setting. So for dual language, we coordinated with Catherine Harrison, who's been our dual language consultant for the last 2 years, a work session day for the board for May 12th. And this is going to be time for Jennifer and I to share with you how we've worked through developing our district framework for dual language. We worked to develop a framework for the district from preschool through grade 12. And prior to just bringing it to the board, we wanted to have an opportunity to do a work session so that you can ask us any questions. There is a short survey I'm going to be emailing you also with a link to our newsletter. And the newsletter, Catherine's done a fabulous job. It gives you every detail of all of the meetings that we've had since we started last January, so that you can get an idea of what that is. And then the survey is just to ask any questions so that we're prepared to answer when we meet with you on Friday. I think that's all I have for now. Any questions? Okay, look forward to seeing you on Friday.
Thank you. All right, thank you. Okay, we'll move into new business. Our first order of business, coaches ejection, Mr. Henry.
One up. So, as the acting athletic director, I just like saying that. In our athletic code, a student or a coach is ejected from a game. They need to come in and talk to the board. I have put him on a probationary period, and he does have consequences of missing some games for what occurred. And so this is his opportunity to talk to you guys about the situation. Go ahead.
I'm sorry for my ejection. I've learned from my mistakes and I'll make sure it does not happen again.
You guys have any questions?
Good enough.
Okay.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Okay. We'll move into our work session discussion. Am I supposed to read that?
No, I'll take care of that. So this is mainly just to confirm our, we had tentatively scheduled this Friday, May 12th for a board workshop to include, as Diane said, presentation from Catherine Kearson around progress and goals moving forward on our dual language program. That'll take up about the first 45 minutes with roughly 10 to 15 minutes of question and answer from the board. Chance to speak to Catherine directly. Then we'll come back, following that presentation, we'll have an update from BLRB architects who will give us an update on our scope and study. If you remember, we did the whole 9 yards with having this group come in and do an evaluation of our programs, an evaluation of our facilities. And then right now they're working on some scale models to allow the board and to give the board some input and some expectation around were the district to at some point in the future make a move towards either a remodel or a reconstruction of our elementary school, to give you a price range, projected cost range. And so they're going to work through an exercise with the board. That way they can give you some realistic numbers. There'll be plus or minus a large percent, because obviously we're dealing with inflation. We're not sure about a timeline that the board's going to decide to make a move forward, but they at least have to have some ground rules to play with to give you those options. So this was mainly just to confirm that we're still a go for 12 o'clock on this Friday. And if there's any last minute changes or anything, please let Heidi or I know, and we'll make sure and get a schedule.
Are we all good?
I will be late.
Yep.
Okay.
And I believe Julie will be back from. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, we'll move on to resolution 3-23, WIAA approval.
Absolutely. And you have a copy of the resolution. It should look very familiar from the past 4 years. It's a pretty much a carbon copy. So every year we need board action of adoption of this resolution in order for us to move forward with WIA and serving as a WIAA school district and conforming to their rules and regulations, as well as certain insurance practices that they then pick up and cover on their end for things like officials and game workers and things.
Any questions, comments? Pretty much an annual.
I'm sure Mr. Henry has a long presentation plan, but I don't think it's necessary, given this is his last meeting as acting athletic director. But nothing has changed for any practical purpose, and there's certainly no procedural or policy changes this year.
All right, I'll move to approve resolution 3-2023 for the WIAA.
Second.
Okay, moved and seconded, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. The sports can continue. Okay, next. Mrs. Robb, attendance and re-engagement update.
Hello, so I have just a one pager of kind of everything that we focused on this last year. The biggest things were having an engaging climate, improving that in all of the schools, building programs and revamping the processes that were in each of the schools. Having an emphasis on that culture of attendance, and then providing accurate data. So in each one of those little categories for the engaging climate, we've created new tardy slips at the elementary school that were a little bit more positive, geared more towards "we're happy you're here" versus "why were you late." We also created some postcards that teachers can send out with their students, just to kind of have a positive way of interacting with them and their parents. Some programs and processes. Each of the school has a team that provides support to the students. Some of them are already in place. But we have more of a focus on that attendance. We also have some handouts with the OSBI guidance with attendance that was created. And then the biggest was the HUG program. We've been piloting at the elementary school, mentoring or pairing a mentor with a student, which has had some really good success. And I do love reading all of the comments from the teachers and just the positivity from the students as well. And then attendance processes have been discussed, and we're still developing those processes in each of the school. For our culture of attendance, attendance incentive competition was started at the elementary school. And I've been working with Mrs. Upton as well as the secretaries at the elementary school to kind of revamp the truancy letters, just to have a little bit more positive mindset with those as well. We also sent out some holiday letters just with focus on attendance. And then with accurate data every month, I've worked on creating a report for each of the principals of each school, just with the data and where we're at. And then this information was discussed in most of the support teams in the meetings. And then my plans and goals and hopes and dreams would be to finalize those attendance procedures in each of the schools. I'd like to develop a district-wide attendance team, so everyone's a little bit more on board with each other. And then also creating or revamping that community engagement board for the district, which is something that's important when you go to truancy court. And then I would also like to start a monthly newsletter for teachers and or for parents, just with tips for engaging with the students, having that attendance data on there, and maybe including some attendance facts. And then I also have the charts. So I included the chart from last school year and then where we're at this year. I know we still have another month left of school, but hopefully the trend continues to go towards more of a satisfactory attendance. But just on the charts itself, as the district, we've increased the satisfactory attendance by 7%, which means that severe chronic absent has gone down, which has been a success. We hope this next month it continues to go in the green and less in the red, but that is all that we've been working on. Any questions?
Which building showed the most improvement?
From the data, it was actually the elementary school that has shown the most improvement.
You know, I know that Emily and her supervisor at the ESD, Mallory, right? Now Marjorie, almost said Marjorie. Mallory called. Mr. Hahn and I had an opportunity to be in a Microsoft Teams meeting with head of the state program, some financial folks discussing budget and this and things for the coming year. And quite frankly, I think Emily didn't do a good enough job of telling you exactly how good our Benton City team has done, because the supervisors in Olympia have said that they're using this type of a model as a framework for other ESDs and are recommending that other grantees like Emily and Mallory from ESD 123 utilize the system that they're putting in place. So it's been a benefit for us, yes, in that we're decreasing our chronic and absenteeism, but they're doing such a good job and the reporting is of such good quality that it's being recommended for use in other ESDs that they've never set foot in. So kudos to the work that Emily's done with the school teams, and I don't see any reason that this isn't something that the district shouldn't consider as a long-term practice to be able to re-engage kids and keep them engaged. So nice work.
Right, thank you very much. Okay, that brings us to the leadership students Gifford Garden discussions.
Hi, I'm Riley. I'm going to be reading a request. I am coming to you as the Associated Student Body and School Board of Pioneer Bend High School with a request to have a plaque made and hung above the entrance to the courtyard in the Commons, which I will pay for. I would like you to consider naming the courtyard Gifford Garden. There was a paper hung on the window saying this, but I can't imagine anything else being more honoring to Julia Gifford. She has been a part of the school for many years. I admire her tireless dedication, working daily behind the scenes to make sure everything runs smoothly so the rest of the staff can do our jobs. She speaks to our students with respect and has connected with many. It takes pride in the beauty of our entire school. From the Commons cleanliness, the snow shoveled from sidewalks at early hours, to picking up after our students. making sure the windows are spotless, and so many more jobs that we don't see her do every day. At the first sign of warm weather, she is out taking care of the courtyard, and when the flowers start to bloom, she graces a few of us with them on our desks when we get here in the morning. Julia loves the school and the students in it. I believe the courtyard should be permanently named after her because of the love and care she has given to our school. We couldn't do our job without her hard work, keeping our building running. Thank you for considering naming the courtyard Gifford Garden and hanging a plaque in the entrance. With great appreciation, Tracy King.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any comment, Mr. Henry?
She's incredible. I mean, she's taking double shifts this week with another custodian's gone. She's constantly, I get here 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning. She's already out blowing off things and doing things. She's always doing something. And if she's not, she asks for what she can be doing. I'm just like, slowing down, you're 70, you know. She doesn't want to quit working because this is what she loves to do. Loves being around the kids and doing the things. I can't say, better words than Ms. King did. I think everybody who knows the work and time and effort that she puts in understands how much she does love Kybe, and I think it would be a great recognition if we do something like that.
And if I may add, from a student's perspective, you can just tell that she really loves being here. And she participates in our spirit days and makes us with a smile every day.
Great. Any discussion, comment, question?
Well, what I would propose to the board is, and I think it's appropriate timing. I think that one of the things we should consider, and even though we're not talking about a full school facility, quote unquote. I think this would be an opportune time for us to set some boundaries and parameters around honorary naming of whether it be our garden, whether it be in the future, a basketball court, a track, the packed stage. There are different things that obviously over years could have some sentimental attachment to an individual, and then invariably what will happen is that we will realize that we don't have any parameters for actually doing such a thing. And I don't think it would be wise of the board to just arbitrarily say yes or arbitrarily say no to something like this without having a foundational policy in place where this is how we go about doing this type of thing. I foresee a day at some point when we're probably considering a name for our football press box due to the amount of time that certain individuals spend there, especially given the number of years. So there are certain things moving forward. I think would be wise if we considered board policy around naming and any small criteria we use. And then whether it is truly simply a matter of a presentation to the board, and the board makes a decision. What I would hate to see is 5 years from now, all of our graduates are gone and someone else does something really cool out in the garden and we decide, okay, at that point, now we're going to try and rename it after a different person who did the second really cool thing, which doesn't then value what this young lady has come forward to describe or what Ms. King is talking about. So I think it would be, I think it's a fantastic idea, bottom line, but B, I think it would be wise of the board to take policy into consideration so that nothing is ever done from this point forward as just arbitrary or reactionary. I'd be happy to find some appropriate policy to put in front of the board for our meeting. I believe it's on the 22nd. And then, we can further this discussion.
We don't have a policy like that in place anymore.
We currently do not.
We do have things named after.
We do have things named after people. And some of those things, we even remember why we named them after the people.
Absolutely.
Some, I'm finding we're having a difficult time. So, and quite frankly, that's another way that if we're serious about honoring Ms. Gifford, we need people to remember the why behind it. We don't want 20 years from now people to wonder, who Julia was and what was she doing in the garden. It was so darn cool, but obviously the kids and our staff have felt that way enough to come to a board meeting. So I think it serves all of our best interests to not simply react, but to do it the right way.
Yeah, you can find some model policies for the next meeting and, you know,
I think we can do that.
take next steps.
Can we put retired numbers on that too? Same. There's some that we don't know.
There, hence, a part of it, yes, part of this
Yes, that's what I
conversation around those retired numbers. I will look into it because I actually think that we're probably delving into some,
Yeah.
maybe a couple different policies, but agreed. So we'll work on the names first for the 22nd, and then we'll work on, I'm sure our new athletic director will be wanting to have a discussion about those retired numbers.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'll propose that we table this discussion to the next meeting. And then it's up to you to bring us a policy we can go forward with, or we'll just go ahead and name it ourselves.
There you go.
But I don't see a problem hanging a plaque.
Oh, I agree.
Okay, well, then we'll go to board comments. Any comments? Discussions? Can't think of anything. Next week will be filing week, candidate filing week. We have 3 positions open. So people that are interested in, and if you're in that district, mine is one of them, Julie's is the other, and Rick's, so that would be number 1 through 4 and 5, I believe.
If I'm not mistaken, you can go on to the county website and it will actually give you
Right.
the district boundaries. and
You can
such,
put
so
your
can check.
address
Yep.
in and it will tell you if you're in that. district. And some of our boundaries have changed recently, so they don't match the old. Because we have adjusted them to populations, so. Just so everybody knows, anybody that's interested. Next week will be filing week, that's a statewide thing for all positions that'll be open this year. Available in November will be November 3rd, I believe is. I can't remember, maybe it's November 1st. Anyway, the first Tuesday in November.
First Tuesday.
Okay, well, pursuant to RCW. Something 4230-110, we will go into a executive session for 30 minutes, performance of public employee. And then no business to follow, we'll be adjourned, so. Thank you for coming, thank you for your presentation.